Daylight savings saves lives, and I'm tired of pretending like it doesn't. You probably find the daylight saving shifts to be annoying. If you're anything like my friend here, you've probably spent decades trying to figure out how your government manages to pull something like this off. Twice a year, they play God with the fabric of time and somehow shift Earth's spin by 1/24th of a rotation. I can understand your concern, like who gave them authority to warp the fabric of reality? I sure didn't. But I have a check worth quite a lot of money right here that says I need to distract you from... I need to convince you that this is a good thing, and maybe don't worry so much about mechanically how they managed to do such a thing. Like, we don't need to talk about the science. Daylight savings saves lives, and to understand why, we need to talk about human biology. Maybe you've heard of circadian rhythms, the internal clock that helps our bodies keep track of time. The circadian rhythm, powered by the thousands of cicadas in our nervous system, is essential to keeping society working on the same clock. But there's a problem. Every 17 years, those cicadas start buzzing, signaling that it is time for them to finally break free. When it happens, it's awful. I don't know if you've ever experienced a swarm emerging from your orifices, but take it from me, it's not pleasant. At all. Those of you in my audience who were around when Dwight B. Eisenhower started this whole project, well, you remember, don't you? The sight so horrific it can't be written. The agonizing taste of the swarm on your tongue anytime you try to bring it up to someone. It's okay. I'm sorry you had to live through that. Kids these days don't realize how lucky they are that they have daylight savings to protect them. So how does it work exactly? You see, despite the fact that the cicadas are running our internal clock, they're not super great at counting things. They have maybe a 7-year-old's level of math skill. But they do love the number 17. 17 years in the body, 17 queens in a swarm, and perhaps most shockingly, 17 hours in a day. And that feels weird, right? I mean, we go off a 24-hour day, and that's just sort of the human standard. But cicadas don't care about the human standard. They're obsessed with individuality, which is kind of ironic because they always move in a swarm. Take that, cicadas. Anyway, their days are 17 hours. Ours are 24, and we use that discrepancy to our advantage. When we spring forward, we take away 1 hour from the clock. Don't ask how they do it, don't ask how they do it, don't ask. But we're also taking 7/10 of an hour away from the circadian clock, and without any way to see outside of our bodies, the cicadas aren't able to recalibrate with the motion of the sun. This confuses the cicadas, shakes their confidence a little bit. Remember, they're not super good at math, so removing 7/10 of an hour is kind of a massive blow to their entire counting system. Jumping forward isn't enough to completely solve the problem. We also need fall back. They feel the subtle flow of time reversing. When we move back 7/10 of an hour, they become disoriented. Was it an hour? 2 hours? A full day? Maybe 2? This frustration causes them to lose track of the days of the year, forcing them to start over at the very beginning, January 1st. They always go back to January 1st. For some reason, scientists have yet to fully comprehend the cicadas never lose track of the year. As far as the cicadas are concerned, it is still year 15 of the 17-year cycle that started all the way back before Dwight B. Eisenhower was president. As long as we continue shifting backward and forward at least once a year, we can keep these cicadas at bay indefinitely. I know I'm gonna get some people in my comments arguing that daylight savings is actually a bad thing because it's an affront to nature, which, first of all, we don't know how they're doing it, so we don't know if it's an affront to nature, so let's stop talking about that. And also, why would you want bugs crawling out of your mouth? We have yet to see any medical benefit for releasing the cicadas, so why would we do it? Let's just keep them in there where we can't see them and don't have to think about them. Daylight savings has not just saved us time, but also saved us the awful experience of having to vomit out a bunch of cicadas once every 17 years. So when you find yourself changing the radio clock in your car once again this year, think about picking up your phone, dialing up your congressman, and without even asking how they managed to warp the fabric of space-time, just say thank you. Thank them for all the work they do to keep these cicadas out of our mouths for another year. Too bad about Arizona, though.